What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today we're going to kick off the 2026 NFL Draft content on the channel. And for that to happen, we have to take one more look at the 2025 NFL Draft for the Chicago Bears and grade those picks after their first season in the NFL. And like I said in the intro, today is going to be all about the 2025 rookie class for the Chicago Bears. Obviously a high impact class overall with a lot of high impact skill players that have contributed in their first season for Ben Johnson, and a lot of good and interesting picks overall in this draft, but also a couple of questionable ones that I want to talk about today. And if you're asking yourself, why now, DGB, why we're grading after the season? Because I think grading players after the pick just happened is complete nonsense, and it doesn't make any sense overall at all. So after their rookie season, we have a pretty good picture now what they're going to be in the NFL, how they are going to be utilized in the system moving forward, and if they made a good decision or not. So today we're going to grade those picks, all they've made in 2025. Now, as a disclaimer, first of all, there will be no F grades in this video because obviously a year in the NFL gives a lot of insights, but the destiny is not written for those guys at all. There's still room for improvement, or players like Zay Frasier haven't even seen the field yet. And the cool thing is, overall for today's video, it is a great combination with my other film room episodes I did on a multitude of rookies during this year's rookie season for them. Kyle Manunga was the most featured player on the channel, and many others that you're going to hear in today's video. So if you want to get a complete picture on them, I have made multiple in-detail film breakdowns on those guys already. But for the guys I haven't talked about a lot, this is going to be a mini film room today, evaluating how they played based on the tape and the stats and what they're going to bring moving forward. So I think it's going to be a fun video today, so stick with me. And with that being said, let's start off with the first pick, round 1, pick 10 for the Chicago Bears in 2025, which was Coulson Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan. And he is a easy A grade for me, in my opinion. He was, like I said, extensively featured already on the channel, so make sure to check those out. It's great to get a picture of him mid-season when he started to get more involved until late season, where he became the #1 target for the Chicago Bears. Now, for his stats overall in the regular season, he appeared in 16 games overall, had 58 receptions, which is a Bears rookie record, passing Mike Ditka, who had 56 as a record before. So obviously a historical season for a Bears rookie tight end right there. He was targeted 81 times by Caleb Williams and the Bears offense. He overall hauled in 713 yards, which is 9th overall in the NFL for tight ends. His average yards per reception was 12.3, which was also the 5th most in the NFL for tight ends. And he had the 8th most touchdowns for that position group with 6 overall. And which was also very telling is the stat of 1.86 yards per route ran, which was 5th in the NFL for all tight ends, which is obviously a great indicator of how productive you are when you're on the field running routes. And he did a great job just having high impact plays throughout the entire rookie season. And his average depth of target was 9.5 yards down the field, which was also 3rd in the league. And overall then in the playoffs, he upped it even more because he was the first rookie tight end in NFL history with 8+ receptions and 100+ receiving yards in a playoff game. He went 8 for 137 yards against the Packers in a huge wildcard win, which is one of the biggest wins I've ever, or the biggest win I've ever witnessed as a Bears fan. And overall, just his versatility that he added to Ben Johnson was so evident. Even in the stats, he was lined up outside as a receiver on 19.3% of his snaps, which was the highest rate among all tight ends in the NFL with over 500 snaps. And if you look at his snap percentage, it was below the average at 23.7%, which you could say, oh shit, he's not a traditional tight end. But if you look at it a little bit deeper, he was still the 6th in most tight end yards from the slot in the NFL with 407. So outside and inside in the slot, a very productive target for the Chicago Bears. And being the #1 target on offense as a rookie in a Ben Johnson-led complicated offense was an absolute joy to watch in his rookie season, and he was also an excellent blocker, right? When he came out of the draft out of Michigan, nobody thought he would be that good of a blocker. Now there's still room for improvement, right? His hands could be better, his strength can improve a little bit through the offseason, and I think he needs to work a little bit on his angles, understanding the run schemes and where it is supposed to hit. But in that aspect, he already got better as he progressed throughout the season, and he just got better and better overall as a blocker. So just a complete tight end in my opinion. And at the number 10 overall pick, that's why it's only an A, not an A+. You expect a big impact player for that value, and Coulson Loveland is every single bit of that. And with that being said, let's move on to the second round pick number 39. The Chicago Bears did not stop. They kept cooking in the draft and selected Luther Burton, the wide receiver out of Missouri, which is another easy A grade for me overall. The best player was available on the board, and the Chicago Bears picked the best player available in Luther Burton as well. He was also featured in 4 film rooms so far this season, so if you want a better picture of him and what he did in multiple games this year, go check those out. But overall for the stats, he appeared in 15 games for the Bears, was targeted 60 times overall, caught 47 passes, and had overall 652 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns, and then for some league-wide stats, 7.3 yards after catch per reception, which was 4th highest in the league. He is definitely one of the best and most explosive receivers after the catch in the league. He's awesome. And then he also had 2.69 yards per route ran, which is obviously a great translatable stat for the future of how productive you are on the field, like I said with Coulson Loveland, and he ranked 3rd with that amount. 3rd in the league, just behind Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith-Njigba, obviously the 2 best receivers in football right now, and that was also the 2nd most by any rookie in any season during the Next Gen Stats era, only trailing A.J. Brown. So obviously elite company here for Luther Burton. Overall, he is the ultimate playmaker, not perfect yet. He had 5 drops on the season, a 9.6% drop rate, which was mostly just concentration and focus drops. I think he has awesome hands. He just needs to be fully focused through some reps. He wanted to go upfield too quickly, didn't look the ball in until it was tucked, and lost the ball because of that. But it's not a hands issue. He can easily get rid of that in the offseason. But overall, he's a guy that can be or will be a complete wide receiver in the league, and is, to me, no doubt, the future wide receiver 1 for the Chicago Bears if he continues to develop like he did in his rookie season. And then moving on a little bit later in round 2, pick number 56, we have to also, of course, talk about Azie Trapillo, the offensive tackle that the Bears picked out of Boston College. And to me, this is a A- pick, again, staying with the A grades here in this draft, back to back to back. And that's just simply because you got a starting left tackle at 56. A really good pass protector in his rookie season. He was excellent using his size and speed. He did really well for the most of the time when he was on the field, facing elite edge rushers like a Myles Garrett, like a Micah Parsons. So he had really big, tough challenges early on, but he responded with some really good plays and games overall. And even though I think he had some ups and downs, he also developed as a run blocker much better. He got better as the season progressed, the more time he had with this offensive line group. So that got better as well as he was moving forward, and just had an awesome first year. Now in terms of stats, he had 335 pass block reps, 22 pressures allowed on those, allowed 5 quarterback hits and 3 sacks overall, which is really solid for a rookie tackle that just got thrown into the mix with a couple of injuries at tackle. And of course, unfortunately, he got injured himself in the wildcard round with a patella injury. He tore his patella, which is not great. It's one of the toughest injuries to come back from. So I don't know if he's ever going to be the same player again. I'm hoping he's recovering really well and will be back. But overall, just the injury aside, it's an easy A- pick, and I love Azie Trapillo, man. Awesome player, awesome character, and I really hope he comes back stronger and can continue to be the franchise left tackle for the Chicago Bears. And then for the last pick in round number 2, pick number 62, a couple of picks later, the Chicago Bears decided to go with Shemar Turner, the interior defensive lineman for Texas A&M. And this is the first worst grade on the day, a C- for me, as he had 5 games overall on the season that he appeared in. He also, I think, tore his ACL, so he was out for the season. He had 72 snaps overall, 6 tackles on the year, 3 stops, and on 33 pass rush opportunities, generated 0 pressures overall. He had a pass rush win rate, according to PFF, of 3.1, which is not good at all. and I want to talk about him a little bit more right here. And the biggest issue for me is, where does Shemar Turner actually fit along the defensive line? Because I looked at the interior defensive line tape early on, and then week 6 and week 7 against the Saints and the Commanders, they switched him out to the edge because he did that in college a little bit as well. We'll talk about that in a second. And because the depth was not there for the edge rushers, so they slid him outside. And for the interior defensive line tape, I think he struggled, and I mean it, struggled against especially the run game. He consistently got moved down the field and thrown around by offensive linemen. He showed minor flashes as an interior defensive lineman and some solid plays, but overall he was not up to the level of the NFL yet at all, which is not great because he's not a super young prospect either. And then in week 6 and week 7, like I said, they moved him out to the edges as a edge rusher, and I did like his tape a lot better looking at that overall. He set a pretty firm edge against the run as an edge rusher and showed flashes of pass rush even on the edges, and that goes back to his college tape where he had these differences as well, because in 2023 he was a edge rusher for Texas A&M, and then in 2024 decided to bulk him up and put him into the interior of the defensive line. And the biggest issue is that if you look at the production in 2023 from the edges, in 50 less snaps, he had 15 more pressures in that year for Texas A&M. And the current weight that he's playing at for the Bears, listed officially by them, is 293 pounds. That's the lightest interior defensive lineman we have and the heaviest edge rusher that we have. And it is a C- for me because, first of all, the tape just didn't add up, right? Even though he is a rookie and needs to adjust, he still couldn't hold up strength-wise in the interior. He got moved badly on a couple of plays. And also because of you drafted, as Ryan Poles, a tweener in round 2 who now has to recover from a ACL injury, and you still do not know where to put the guy and if he should add or lose some weight moving forward. So for me, just from a evaluation standpoint, where he also in college struggled to know if he's interior or edge, even though I think he was better at edge, you now have it the same problem in the NFL because he is playing at a very tweener-ish weight, and you put him already at the interior spots and now at the edge spot as well. So to me, it's just a C- because the production is not there, but also you have a huge question mark of how and where he's going to play moving forward for this defense. But obviously, it's just 1 year, no time to overreact here. Okay, it's all good. He can still develop. I just think he should slim down honestly a little bit and play out on the edges because I thought he looked better at that position, but let's see how he develops moving forward. And then we are moving on and skipping round 3 right into round 4, pick 132. The Chicago Bears added a linebacker with Ruben Hippolite II out of Maryland. And that to me is the worst grade of the day, a D+ overall. Ruben Hippolite was a questionable pick at the time already. He still is a questionable pick right now after his first season. Special teams value or not, a 4th round linebacker shouldn't solely be drafted for that value and for that ability, right? Very uninspirational tape that I looked at when on the field. Overall, he had 28 snaps on the year, 4 tackles on defense, 3 stops, and 1 quarterback pressure. And especially considering the injury plague at linebacker, I expected a lot more from a young player like Ruben Hippolite. He didn't look good in coverage. He looked lost dropping into zones, and in man coverage it was okay, but there's not a lot of valuable reps. But at the same time, it's also very telling that if you have injuries at the linebacking core and your 4th round linebacker cannot step in, that's a major red flag for me overall. And he's still a player that's also going to be 25 at the start of the 2026 season already, okay? So it's not a guy that's young and maybe needs time to develop. It's already an older guy that you do not trust already, even though he should be more developed because he had more experience in college. So overall for me, this is the worst pick of the draft. Maybe something develops out of Ruben Hippolite, but I don't really see it. So I dislike that pick at the time it was made because nobody even knew Ruben Hippolite, and he didn't really do anything to change my perception after his first rookie NFL season. And then moving on to round number 5, we now have to talk about pick 169, which was Zay Frasier, the cornerback out of UTSA, which is a C grade for me and a to be determined. He obviously hasn't played in his rookie season. He was out with some personal personal issues, so he will be officially on the squad in 2026. Ryan Poles already confirmed. But overall, for Zay Frasier coming out of college, a very athletically gifted player that, like I said, missed his rookie year, but will be back in 2026 competing. The only interesting thought is he'll be 26 in October, so that's not perfect. That's not optimal because he's already an older guy going into his first true season in the NFL, but the grade will change quickly. For a fifth rounder, you'd hope he'll be at least or ascend to be a serviceable backup in his first year on the roster and then continue to grow a little bit. But I still see a solid future for him overall because he was very gifted and had good tape coming out of UTSA. And then quickly moving on to round number 6, we now talk about 195. That pick was Luke Newman, the guard out of Michigan State, and that's a B- for me overall. And I do like Luke as a offensive lineman with the Bears. All-star interior cast right now in that situation. A young, athletically gifted backup to develop is definitely nice to have in my opinion, and Luke Newman definitely embodies that. Now, for his tape in 2025, it was a struggle. He had 25 offensive snaps overall and was in the Steelers game specifically for Jonah Jackson, who missed about a quarter in that game, so he saw some real-life NFL regular season playing time on that day. And if you look at the tape, in the limited run snaps that you saw, he looked really solid as a run blocker, but in pass protection, not so much at all. His hands, his feet are not there yet as an NFL offensive lineman. He lacks technique, and that's still something he needs to develop. Some really solid reps overall, though, on the day in pass protection, but not ready yet, in my opinion. Very evident on tape, and that's why I think Jordan McFadden was also the easy choice for the Bears coaching staff to get him in at guard and not Luke Newman, the young rookie. But for a 6th round pick, I think he filled in okay. He was also used in a couple of I formation plays, which was cool to see. So they did think of him as a valuable piece to this offense. And overall, he has just great veterans in front of him in Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson that he just now has to learn from, soak all the information that you can get in, and then maybe develop into a solid contributor down the line when one of these players will eventually retire or not be on the team anymore. And I mean, we have literally one of the best pass protecting guards the game has ever seen on the team in Joe Thuney. So just stick with him, learn as much as you can, and maybe we have something in Luke Newman because, like I said, athletically a very gifted player that showed some good flashes already in the limited time on the field, but also showed he's not totally ready yet. And then to finish off today's draft, we have round 7 pick number 233, and easily my favorite pick of the entire day. We're talking about the most featured player on my channel this year overall in Film Room episodes. My favorite player in the NFL right now. I just got his jersey about 2 weeks ago, so shout out wifey, she's the best. And the angry run master. I'm talking, of course, about Kyle Manunga, the running back out of Rutgers, and this is the highest grade today, a A+ for that pick. Now, if we look at the stats, 16 games played overall, 169 attempts. He had 783 yards on the season, 4.6 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns, 3.3 yards after contact per attempt. Some really good numbers, of course, as a rookie back in this offense. And if you compare it to the rest of the rookie class, which was a really insanely productive and talented rookie class overall, he had the 5th most rush yards for the rookies with the lowest workload of all of the guys above him. He had the 5th most yards per attempt for rookies and the 7th most missed tackles forced for the rookies as well. And a, like I said, insanely productive and talented rookie class. And overall for the season, pros and cons, like I said, I did a lot of Film Room episodes from preseason to early season to midseason to late season on Kyle Manunga, so you have the complete package with him. But overall, obviously a tough runner that got better in the pass game as a receiver. He has developed really and figured it out in the NFL as a pass protector as well. He was good in college, had a small little adjustment phase, but then shined in pass protection in the NFL as well. And as a runner, he's excellent, right? He seeks contact. He has great contact balance, super good vision, and he will hit the hole decisively. And he showed that over and over and over again, and was just a very valuable piece that not just elevated the high floor of the offensive line, but was just a great rookie veteran presence almost for this Ben Johnson offense. And like I said, my favorite pick of this entire draft. I love Kyle Manunga. And that leads us to the conclusion of today's episode. Overall, after one season, I would give this a A- because it is rare to hit on 4 picks completely and to get 4 high impact starters out of a draft class overall. Now, defensively, this draft class was not nearly as good as the offensive side of the ball, but still, the overall value of those picks to me still is a A-. You're not going to hit on every single draft pick, and after one season, it's still tough to evaluate all of them at the same time either, like I just said in today's beginning of the video. So overall, obviously, we need to draft better defensively, with the focus shifting now to that side of the ball this offseason, with having massive issues on defense overall. But nonetheless, a really good class for Chicago. Ryan Poles and his new staff with Ben Johnson did an awesome job of drafting in their first year together. And the channel focus now will shift to the draft in 2026 and the offseason content. I already talked about the Bears cut candidates, the Bears re-sign candidates, and trade candidates. So if you want to, I think it was a really good video. Go check out that video if you want to after today's video. And yes, I just can't wait to start now with the draft content. It's one of the most exciting times of the year, and it's going to be a really fun time on the channel. So I hope you stick with me and experience that time of the year. And with that being said, guys, that's the end of today's episode. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the rookie class in 2025 for the Chicago Bears. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, but it helps me to build this small little awesome community with you guys talking Bears ball. And I see you guys in the next video very, very soon. And until then, and as always, bear down.